Hi, this is a quick preview of the tools and benefits of GoGuardian for the classroom. What GoGuardian is basically a software that you can connect to student Chromebooks and to their Google accounts. So when they sign in through those Chromebooks, you can monitor what they're doing with their device as well as being able to see their screens and limiting or allowing certain websites or certain places for them to go. I personally only have one classroom with the same students all day, so I only have one classroom, but I could see this definitely being beneficial also for places such as high schools where teachers are having different classes with different groups of students all day. They could have different classrooms. So this is what the homepage for GoGuardian would look like. As you can see, I only have my 4th grade 2021 up there, and I have the same kind of session, same scenes set all day for those students, so I could monitor 24/7 what those students are doing. On the side, you would see the menu. So classrooms here would allow me to see my students. Scenes is probably one of the two biggest perks here, where it allows you to set up what your students can access through their devices. So there's two options here. You can have allowed websites, which means students only are able to access what you allow, versus the blocked websites where students can access anything except those places that you block. So you could use that to block websites such as YouTube or social media or other games so that they're not distracted, but they still are able to freely roam the internet. So it would be based on perhaps maybe the student grade level or what they can handle, as well as the assignments. So for example, if you want students working solely on whatever Google Classroom assignment you might have, you might want to have that allowed setting on, versus if they're working on a research report, you might want them to have a little bit more freedom what they're looking at. I'll let you see just what my scene looks like. Since I'm working with 4th graders, I use the allowed website. And I have my list here of allowed websites, things like iReady for my title students, the sign in for my Google account so they're able to use those G Suite apps, iExcel, ReadWorks, eSpark, Kahoot, Ducksters, which is my younger encyclopedia that they use, my Britannica Kids for their dictionary, a thesaurus website, and Kiddle, that visual search engine, and other things like that. The other big perk of students using GoGuardian and teachers using GoGuardian is allowing students to, or I should say allowing teachers to see the screens of all their students. Now here's a snapshot of what my class might look like. Of course, I've blocked out names for privacy and they're currently all offline, but what I would see when they're online is just their individual screens. Literally what they're seeing on their computer, I can see right here. This has been such a benefit, especially with all the virtual learning we've been doing this year, that when my students are far away from me, I can be on the phone with them or through a Google Meet, and I can see exactly what they're seeing to walk them through whatever problems they might be experiencing or walk them through some assignments that they're going through. And this has been great. It also helps me as far as with my virtual learners, if we are in a class, especially as I'm working with a hybrid class right now, so some virtual, some in person, I can also be aware of how focused my virtual students are. So if I see them on my Google Meet, but yet I check my GoGuardian and they've got a few different websites open, I'm able to let them know that I see that. Or one of the huge benefits is I'm actually able to open and close tabs for them. So if I need them to refocus, I can simply close their tab from my computer and get them back on track that way. Another function that it gives is also being able to message students privately. So I have a little chat box. I can message students, so if I need to offer just some personal encouragement, I can do that. I can also send announcements, and those can be sent through, you'll see that chat box up there. If I toggle it on, it gives me the option for simply chatting or sending an announcement. And announcements also help, as they're a message that's going to pop up on the screen, blocking them from whatever they see, versus my chat's just going to pop up in a chat bubble. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about is student reports. Student reports are awesome. They come after every session that's scheduled for the classroom, and they give kind of a truncated report of what the student's been doing during that session. I can select that class, select the student, and that date range. So if I want to look at a week of work from my student versus just one day. Here's a small example of one of my students' reports from this last Thursday. You'll notice it's got 3 pieces here, the top 5 websites, top 5 documents, and top 5 Google searches. It allows me to see how much time is spent for each of these places. You'll notice she spent about 5 hours on that Google Meet because we're still doing that virtual learning, but she also spent some time on my Google Classroom as well as that encyclopedia. If she had been working on a document for Google Classroom, if I had some assignment through Google Classroom, it would have come up on that top 5 documents. I don't have Google search open for my students right now, but if I did, I'd also be able to see what she was doing there. It also allows me to see interventions. So anytime I've opened a tab, anytime I've closed a tab or blocked the sites, you'll notice here, that student had tried to access a blocked site. And when that happens, all it gives is a student a screen that says, hey, you're not supposed to be working on this right now. Why don't you go back to where your teachers asked you to be? And they will pop back on, and it won't allow them to get any further. It also allows you to know how much change, and so you'll see if those interventions are helping that student work. So for example, I believe I had to close a tab for her the day before, so it tells me that tabs closed down 100%, which is positive because I didn't have to use that intervention this day. So that's my short review for GoGuardian. I definitely recommend it as a software and application for teachers to use. Huge benefit, especially in the virtual learning and especially as we are using more and more technology in the classroom. Thank you.